Detroit, Michigan, 1963. The commercial came on at 7:15 between the news and the weather. A woman in a white coat held up a bottle and explained what ordinary soap was doing to Sandra's skin. Sandra watched it. She changed the channel. She had been watching commercials like this for 3 years. Her bathroom shelf had not changed once. Nothing on it had stopped working. This was Detroit, 1963, the year the Supremes had their first #1, the year Jackie Kennedy's face was on every front page. On every television set on Sandra's street, a woman in a white coat was explaining a problem Sandra did not have. What the shelf cost to stock, $6.40. What the commercials were selling in its place, that same problem, and the solution for it. 11 things the industry was just beginning the work of making her forget. Number 11, the egg white mask every Sunday morning. The egg whites came from the carton Sandra kept for baking. On Sunday mornings, before anyone else was awake, she cracked 2 eggs into a small bowl and beat the whites with a fork until just frothy. That faint, raw smell, the bowl barely warm from her hands. Applied across the face and neck with her fingertips, left until stiff, 12 to 15 minutes. She could feel when it was time. The skin would begin to pull slightly, a tightness that is specific, distinct from dryness, like the surface of the face drawing inward, then rinsed with cool water. Not cold, not warm. Tap water run for 3 seconds. What egg white does is mechanical. Albumin, the protein, coats the skin's surface and physically contracts as it dries. The pore appears smaller because the tissue around it has been drawn inward, applied and left and rinsed. That is the whole thing. It does not last indefinitely. It lasts long enough to matter on a Sunday morning before church. A dozen eggs in Detroit in 1963 cost 43 cents. The 2 whites Sandra used were already in the refrigerator. The serum category built around temporary skin firming effects is worth several $billion. The egg costs less than 4 cents. Number 10, club soda as a final rinse. The bottle of Canada Dry Club soda lived on the bottom shelf of the refrigerator. After washing her face in the evening, Sandra poured a small amount of cold club soda over her palms and splashed it across the face twice. No rubbing, just contact and rinse. Club soda is slightly acidic. Carbonic acid from dissolved carbon dioxide drops the pH to around 4, close to the skin's natural surface pH of 4.5 to 5.5. Most tap water runs between 7 and 8. Every rinse with tap water shifts the surface pH upward, pores relax, and the skin needs time to correct. Club soda corrects it immediately. A face rinsed with cold club soda closes. The surface goes firm in a way that plain water does not produce, and toner was later invented to approximate. Sandra had learned it from her older sister, who had learned it from a woman at the salon where she worked. It had no name. It was just what you did if you knew to do it. A 1-liter bottle cost 11 cents in 1963. 1 bottle lasted 2 weeks. Number 9, avocado mashed on the face. In 1963, avocados from California were arriving in Detroit grocery stores for the first time with any regularity. Sandra bought them for salads. The last tablespoon, the pale green scrapings from the inside of the skin, went somewhere else, mashed with a fork until smooth, the color of celadon, applied to the face in an even layer, left for 20 minutes, rinsed with cool water. That same year, Elizabeth Taylor's skin was on the cover of Life magazine. The article asked what she used. The answer was a list of products, most of them newly launched. What the article did not know or did not mention was that avocado oil had been used on skin since before anyone was selling it in a bottle. Oleic acid, which is most of what avocado is one of the few naturally occurring fatty acids that penetrates the outermost skin layer rather than sitting on its surface. Research has confirmed this repeatedly since the early 2000s. Sandra was ahead of the research. The vitamin E in avocado applied directly is the same compound sold in pierced capsules at health food stores for $12 a bottle. Sandra was applying it from the scrapings of a fruit she had already eaten, for nothing. Number 8, the dry brush before bathing. The natural bristle brush on the back of the bathroom door had been her mother's. a wooden-handled paddle brush with stiff boar bristles, bought in the early 1940s for 65 cents. It still hung from the same small hook her father had put in. Every morning before the shower, dry body, dry brush, starting at the feet, moving upward toward the heart, long strokes on the legs, circular on the torso, always before any water. The sound of it, stiff bristle on dry skin, was the sound of every morning in that house. Here's the thing about the lymphatic system. It has no pump. The heart pumps blood. The lymph moves only when the body moves, or when something moves it from the outside. 8 hours of sleep means 8 hours of lymphatic fluid sitting still, pooling slightly in the tissue, showing in the face by morning. The dry brush moves it. That is the entire mechanism. Sandra did not have a name for the mechanism. She had a brush and a hook on the back of a door, the skin after, smoother, less flat, ready to receive rather than to resist. 65 cents, 30 years. If any of this is already in your medicine cabinet or your refrigerator, before we get to number 7, hit subscribe. By 1963, beauty advertising on American television had moved into a new format. Longer, softer, more story than pitch. The new commercials did not just sell a product, they introduced a condition. They named a problem the viewer might not have known she had, described it in enough detail that she began to look for it, and then offered the remedy. Tired skin, dull skin, problem skin. These phrases were new in 1963. They had not been in women's vocabulary in 1953. They arrived with the commercials that needed them. Sandra's skin was not tired. It was not dull. It had no problem that required a category name. But the commercials were not made for women who already knew their shelf worked. They were made for the moment of doubt, the moment when a woman looked in the mirror after watching one and thought, maybe, before the next 7. Everything in this video and dozens more routines like it, organized by decade, by category, by the woman who kept them, is collected at nostalgiawomen.com. If you have been wanting it, now is the time. Number 7, raw potato slices on the eyes. Sandra kept a raw potato in the vegetable drawer she used specifically, and only for this, not for cooking. Slice thin, 1/8 of an inch, refrigerated overnight in a small dish. Before anything else went on in the morning, 2 cold slices over the eyes, still for 10 minutes. Raw potato contains catecholase, an enzyme, studied for its ability to inhibit melanin synthesis at the surface. Applied repeatedly, it reduces the pigmentation that shows as darkening beneath the eye. The cold temperature simultaneously causes the small vessels to constrict, reducing overnight puffiness. The cold mattered as much as the enzyme. Sandra kept the slices cold because her mother had kept them cold. Her mother had been right without knowing why. The potato cost 12 cents and served 2 functions, one for the kitchen, one for the drawer. The under-eye treatment category is now worth hundreds of millions annually. The distinction Sandra did not make between what belonged in the refrigerator and what belonged in the bathroom was not carelessness. It was precision. Number 2 is still coming. That is the one that will make you stop and look at your refrigerator differently. Stay for it. Number 6, sea salt and olive oil on the hands. Saturday evenings, 1 tablespoon of sea salt, 1 of olive oil combined in the palm. Worked slowly until the salt began dissolving at the edges. Then across the backs of both hands, between the fingers, across the knuckles and elbows. Left 2 minutes, rinsed with warm water. The salt provided mechanical exfoliation, physical removal of dead surface cells. The oil did 2 things simultaneously. It lubricated the scrub so the salt moved without tearing, and it deposited oleic acid and vitamin E on the freshly exposed surface, where it could penetrate rather than sit on top of dead cells. Exfoliation and treatment in 1 step, 1 bowl, 2 ingredients, 2 minutes. The hand scrub and hand treatment categories are now sold separately. In 1963, they were the same jar, prepared in 30 seconds, used in 2 minutes. Sea salt cost 7 cents for a container that lasted months. The olive oil was the bottle she cooked with. Number 5, beeswax lip treatment. The small tin on Sandra's vanity had been filled by the pharmacist on East Jefferson when Sandra's mother first asked for it in 1941. He melted raw beeswax with a small amount of almond oil and poured it into the tin while still liquid. The tin smelled of honey and something clean beneath it, faintly sweet, faintly woody. By 1963, the tin had been refilled 4 times. The same tin, the same pharmacist, now older, who still made it the same way. Beeswax does not sit on the lip the way petroleum jelly does. It contains esters, compounds that bond lightly to the surface cells rather than coating them. The practical difference: 1 application at night lasted until morning. You did not have to carry it. You applied it once, and the work was done. Sandra had never bought a commercial lip balm. The pharmacist charged 30 cents per refill. She saw no reason to pay more for something that was working exactly as it should. Number 4, sweet almond oil for nails and eye area. The small amber bottle from the pharmacy cost 30 cents and lasted 4 months. Sweet almond oil, pharmaceutical grade, nothing added. Sandra used it 2 ways. First, nails. A drop worked into each cuticle before bed every night. The cuticle is a seal, a thin layer that, properly conditioned, lies flat and keeps moisture and bacteria out. Sweet almond oil, rich in vitamin E and light enough to absorb overnight, maintain the seal without requiring removal in the morning. Second, the outer corners of the eyes and the thin skin beneath the lower lash line, where dryness accumulates and fine lines appear earliest. A pinhead of oil applied with the ring finger tapped, not rubbed. The ring finger only. Her mother had redirected her hand to the right finger at 12 years old. The ring finger is the weakest independent finger. You cannot accidentally press too hard with it. 30 cents per bottle, lasting 4 months. Eye cream at $40 to $90 per jar addresses the same tissue with the same principle. Number 3 is the one that works on the face while you sleep, without touching the face at all. It is also the one most women have stopped doing without knowing what they gave up. Number 3, Epsom salts in the bath once a week. Every Sunday evening, 1 full cup of Epsom salts dissolved into hot bath water before she stepped in. 20 minutes. The window fogged. The house went quiet. Nothing else. Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate. What it does in the body, specifically what it does to the skin, runs through a hormone Sandra would never have named: cortisol, the stress hormone. When cortisol stays high, it breaks collagen down, inflames the skin, disrupts the barrier that keeps moisture in. The face that looks older than it should often belongs to a body that has not found a way to come down. The warm bath brings the cortisol down. That is the mechanism. Sandra did not know it. She knew something simpler. The bath made her face look better Monday morning. She had been doing it since her mother had done it. She did not need a reason beyond that. The weeks she skipped it, she could tell by Tuesday. A box of Epsom salts cost 19 cents and lasted 8 baths. Number 2, Mayonnaise deep conditioner. The Hellmann's jar in Sandra's refrigerator was used for sandwiches and, once a month on a Saturday morning before washing, for her hair. She would work 2 tablespoons through dry hair, not wet, from root to tip. The vinegar smell was sharp when she opened the jar. It faded. She covered her hair with a shower cap she kept folded in the second drawer and went about the morning, made coffee, started laundry. 30 minutes later, she shampooed it out with cool water, not hot. The reason for dry hair, not wet, is that the oils in mayonnaise bond to a shaft that has not already taken in water. Wet hair has raised its cuticle to absorb, and water and oil do not mix. Applied dry, the oils are drawn in by a cuticle at rest. The egg yolk, lecithin in mayonnaise, is chemically close to the fats naturally present in the hair shaft. The vinegar, when the treatment is rinsed out, closes the cuticle behind it. She knew it would look strange to anyone who walked into the kitchen. She did not care. Her hair after was different, and she had been doing it since she was 22. Premium hair masks run $25 to $60 per treatment. A jar of Hellmann's in 1963 cost 41 cents. Before number 1. In 1960, the average American woman purchased 2 to 3 cosmetics products per year. By 1970, that number had risen to 11. The products did not improve tenfold in that decade. The advertising did. Between 1960 and 1970, television beauty advertising in the United States increased by over 600%. The number of products a woman believed she needed tracked the number of commercials she watched. Sandra watched the commercials. She changed the channel. The shelf did not change. The women who added products were not careless. They were the first generation shown nightly at scale, with music and a before and after photograph, that what they had was insufficient. The advertising named the deficiency. The product addressed the name. The woman paid for both. Number 1 is the thing that cannot be sold. It requires no product. Number 1. She never bought a problem she hadn't already had. This is the thing that is hardest to put back once it is gone. Sandra did not walk into a pharmacy looking to solve something. She walked in knowing what she needed and reached for it. The difference between those two movements is the difference between a shelf that costs $6 and a shelf that costs $600. Every item from 11 to 2 was something she had been shown, not sold. The person who showed her had been shown by someone else, in a chain that ran straight back to a time before the showing could be replaced by a product, when you could not buy what you needed to know, only receive it. The chain broke in roughly a decade. The first commercials named the problems. The products arrived to solve them. The women who had been shown stopped showing their daughters because by the time the daughters were old enough to ask, the shelf had changed and no one remembered what had been on it. Sandra's daughters watched the same commercials. The difference was that Sandra had been shown first. What she had was not a routine. It was a record. A set of practices that survived long enough to reach her, from a time before the problem needed a name. She did not try to be beautiful. She knew what was already in her kitchen. 11 things, every one of them still available. Start with the egg white. One Sunday morning, 2 whites beaten until just frothy, applied with your fingertips, left until it pulls. Rinsed with cool water, 12 minutes. The cost is whatever 2 eggs cost. Then come back and tell me which one of these was already in your kitchen before I named it. That is the comment I read first. Subscribe if you have not. There is more where this came from.